Hi everybody, welcome to Saturday Live at the Backyard Bird Center. Today we're talking about one of the least popular topics in the bird feeding world, and that is the subject of flower moths or Mediterranean meal moths or any number of names that you want for them. But if you've ever fed birds, if you have dog food at your house, if you have flour, cornmeal, cereal, anything at your house, you have probably dealt with the meal moths before. It's a very small moth that was introduced into our country in the late 1800s, evidently. And what I've read about them, the origin is, they think, was actually Central American, that Central America region, not the Mediterranean, but that's the name that's associated with the animal. But okay, so what's the story on these meal moths? Well, what they do is they lay their eggs in pretty much any grain product. They're far more famous for flour than anything, and so people who don't feed birds have problems with these moths in their house, as well as people who do feed birds. But because we deal in grain products day in and day out every day here at the store, and our customers deal with them, we are, everything we carry in this store that we feed is a target for these animals to lay their eggs in, or have probably laid their eggs in somewhere along the chain from the field to delivery here at our store. And when temperatures get routinely high enough, and usually that's stay above 80, 85, they start hatching. That's why we're doing the program today, because August is the absolute worst month for Mediterranean meal moths that we have. And this year's been particularly bad because it has been hot, it has been dry, and it just seems to be the worst year we've had in a long time. So I thought that what I should do is a program to kind of help you understand what's going on, how to take some preventative measures, and then of course, if you do have them, how to take some measures to get rid of them. But the old ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure is certainly the best thing you can do. I know, and I hope, hopefully, if I've trained all of my employees, and all of my employees who have fed birds for years, and they know the problem with them. And whenever people buy bird seed here, we try to discourage anyone from storing bird seed in their house. We always say, keep your bird seed in a cool, dry place. Well, people think that their basement or their garage is cool and dry enough, and quite often that is not. It may be cool and dry plenty through most of the year, but when it comes to late July, August, and early September, the dog days of summer, that's whenever you're going to get the hatching of these meal moths. So they've laid their eggs in the grain products. When the temperatures get high enough, they hatch, and they become, what comes out is a little white, off-white worm that crawls along and looks for a place, and they're eating everything. They're the ones that eat out of the packaging of your cornmeal boxes. I've seen, looks like little tiny holes all through it, where these little caterpillars have chewed through to get out of those. And they find a place. Once they get big enough, they find a little crack or crevice to get in and pupate, which means they go into a cocoon state, and then they hatch out of that, and that's when the moths appear and fly around after they've hatched out of that little cocoon. So, one of the things you can do, again, don't ever store your bird seed inside. Your dog food, that's up to you. But and flour and muffin mix and things like that are in your pantries are targets for them too. But for our part with the bird seed, store your bird seed either outside in as cool a place as you can in a sealed container, and rotate that seed frequently. Don't buy big bags of bird seed in the heat of the summer that you're going to have for a long time. You want to rotate your seed as quickly as you can and get through that. The birds take care of it for you. They love the worms. They love to eat them. But if you're going through bird seed quickly, then they don't have time to go through their life stages. So smaller bags of bird seed this time of year. What I always did for my mom when I took her a 20-pound bag of fine sunflower chips for her finches, I would take that 20-pound bag, break it down into several small Ziploc bags, and put them in her freezer. And that way she could just take out a Ziploc bag of it and put it in her finch feeder at a time, so she didn't have to worry about the moths. If you can do that, what I understand is 2 weeks in a freezer will kill everything in that birdseed. The egg stages, if there's any worms or anything like that, all that will be killed 2 weeks in a freezer. So, if you've got a freezer space and you've got a refrigerator space that you can put them in, that is the safest way to do it. But definitely, outdoors, an aluminum can, dry trash can. That's what I keep mine in, underneath my deck. So, prevention is definitely the way to go there. If you do see them, what can you do about them? Well, what we have here, if you've been in the store, you have seen these all over my store. 365 days a year, I have flower moth pheromone traps out. And these are scented lures and sticky, if you can see in there or not, but sticky paper that lures the moths in, and they get stuck to that. And we keep them out all year long to try to keep the moth population under control here. They're just a reality of the hobby of bird feeding, having a dog, with dog food and things like that. So send in ideas for the programs. If you like them, give them a like, share them if you would. Till then, come by and let's talk birds.